I'm not going to go on a long soapbox about immigration. I mean, immigration is something that everybody has their agreement or disagreement. My only beef was that I feel like a lot of the black community was um they were trying to strap this on the back of black
Yeah.
people was a little annoying to me. And I'm like, okay, sure, there are people who are darker complected who are being evicted,
This
but
definitely wasn't our fight.
evicted, my bad, deported,
Deported.
my bad. But here's the thing. I want to play this clip from Michael Blackson talking about, he's a comedian talking about immigration real quick. Let me play
But you
this.
also have to keep in mind that as soon as Trump became president, he wiped out DEI. He wiped out affirmative action. He wiped out a lot of programs that have historically helped black people and women. That's all gone now. So the same people that supported and voted for him ultimately, like look at all the immigrants that voted for him, like Mexicans for Trump.
Well, I mean,
You
time out. They're not going to be voting if they're illegal aliens. So,
Well, no, I remember there's a story that I found out where this guy was a huge Trump supporter. As soon as he was elected, his wife got deported.
I mean, all right. Here's my thing with deportation and people living here illegally.
Yeah.
Okay, when I came to the States over 30 years ago, I mean, this is like coming to America is probably easier trying to get to heaven. That's how hard it is. That's how hard it is to come to America for a black person or a foreign person or a brown person. 8 out of 10 people that go to the U.S. Embassy in African countries get turned down.
Just want to pause that there because I made this point before, and I was trying to explain when I was talking to people who are up in arms about immigration that when you look at, there's a lot of people that want to come to America, not just people in Venezuela.
Mhm.
There's a lot of people who would cut off their arm to get on a plane to come here,
All over the world.
all over the world who are suffering too. And he just said 8 out of 10 are turned
You're some
down.
government official or you got a scholarship to go to school. America wants to know when you're coming, why you're coming, and when you're going to fuck back to your country.
Right. And I just want to say, it's not just America. Like, for example, my friend Napoleon from the Outlaws, he's been living in Saudi Arabia for the last 10 years. He has businesses, he has restaurants and everything else like that. In our last interview, I said, "You're a citizen, right?" He goes, "Oh, no, I'm not a citizen. I have a work permit."
Yeah.
But to be a citizen, you have to either be like a college
This is
professor
tough.
or you have to have really deep government ties. Because he basically said Saudi Arabia is like a welfare country where they get a lot of benefits from just being in Saudi, a Saudi citizen. You get free college, free healthcare, whatever. So a lot of people want to come there just for that. So yeah, you go to other countries, you can't just become a citizen there either
When I'm talking about citizenship, I'm talking about just permission to come to the United States.
and stay.
Just to visit.
All right, because you need a visa.
The visa.
Yeah.
To get a visa, they want to know why, when, and when you're going to fuck back.
Right.
Black people don't, if you want to go to Mexico from here, they ain't asking you all that.
Right.
You don't need a visa. So it's very hard to come here. So those who come here from wherever they, all the difficulties they had to go through to get a visa to come to this country, is what made this country elite. Hard to get in,
Right. Yeah, no.
Yes, I'm sure there are some people who've been arrested or there's some injustices happening here and there, but the deportations were necessary for that reason because you had millions and millions of people coming over here and all of a sudden it's of course being thrown into the minority basket of rights and civil rights and I find it offensive. And I've had people, this guy Michael Blackson's from Ghana, same home country. You know what I'm saying? Same place my parents are from. And I try to tell people, I'm like, but they didn't just sneak over the border. Like he just said, 8 out of 10 are denied. When you got coming over here, they do scrutinize, especially if you're coming from Africa. What are you coming for? How long you going to be here? You know what I'm saying? And you got to prove that you are here to work and you're here, so you can't just come in here and then we'll figure it out later. I'm gonna just come in illegally and we'll figure it out later. In the meantime, subsidize me, take me in. If you're talking about sanctuary and trying to save people, there are people all over the world who are going through stuff. So my thing is that people have to understand that the immigration conversation is something that, again, is maybe uncomfortable, but it's necessary.
Mm-hmm.
So that's my whole thing.
Yeah, I mean, I think there should be a process for things like that. There should be a process for everything, you know? Yeah, I mean, it's a process. It's a process, and you got to go through it the right way. That's all I can say about immigration.
Yeah, I mean, I think no, you know what? It's not honestly, it's not even that complicated. It's about that simple, and I
Yeah.
think that it's been turned into all these different things. There's so much speculation on what they Holman and
It's a slap in the face for people who have actually gone through the process. It is
yes,
such a huge slap in the face for those who have had to go through that process, because I'm sure it took a long, long time. So, yeah,
I don't know why that's not talked
I-
about for whatever reason. You know, if you had somebody who, let's say, 5 years ago, before this was a big conversation, not like illegal immigration is new, but for people before, but during Biden's administration, when we had all the quadrupling of people coming in, let's say someone came in 2 years before that, and and they had went through all the processes, and it wasn't easy and XYZ, and then they see a couple of years later, millions of people come in. Someone's getting subsidized. What if you're witnessing that? Someone who had to go through that, and you watch somebody come in for asylum, they're getting subsidized, and then they're able to just stay. Because we all know if Kamala had won, all these people in the country would have just stayed.
Well, the Latino men spoke up on that.
Yeah, of course they
They
did.
got they got Trump numbers too.
Of course,
Or
yeah.
Trump got their numbers
That's
too.
why
So,
people are trying to say now that they voted for Trump. Yeah, but every Latino isn't for illegal immigration. I just think
right.
it's an insult.
Yeah, that is an insult. That is an insult.
It's just an insult to assume that every Latino is pro illegal immigration. It's wrong because
Clearly not.
it's
Go
clearly not
look,
that way.
Go look at the votes.
Yeah,
Clearly not.
and there's some people who may regret it because they may not like the way ICE and Holman is dealing with things. But at the end of the day, you may not like the method of how things are done all the time. That's just part of life. You're never gonna like anything. Every person, someone who you vote for, you're not gonna like everything that they do.
They've had some people on this list who were supposed to be detained 6 years ago.
Yeah, even more than that. Even 10 years ago, there are people who had it. I watched the guy got arrested in Chicago. He was from he wasn't even from Venezuela. He might have been from Thailand, but he was convicted of child molestation and rape and stuff, and they had picked him up. He was on that Dr. Phil show.
Mm.
When it comes to this stuff, we just in an interesting time in America, and I think that people got to stop trying to pick a side. You know what I'm saying? Don't pick a side. Just understand the issue and understand that everybody ain't gonna be happy with everything.